Hello, 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 my lovely people on the studios, Zoila Garman, and I am so excited to introduce you to
Shamaine!
Shamaine.
Shamaine!
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm really good. How are you?
Amazing. I'm feeling amazing as well. I am feeling blessed as well to have you in the studios. It's an amazing honor to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Shamaine, I want to start with this crazy, boring question, right? We have to know who you are, what you're doing, and where you're coming from. So if you want to introduce yourself with that question, please.
It's like those icebreakers, isn't it? My name is Shamaine Robinson,
Yeah.
and I currently live in Porthcawl, and I
Yeah.
work self-employed, business
Yeah.
coach,
Yeah.
strategist, development.
Yeah.
I'm 55 in about 4 weeks, so I'm feeling a bit old at the moment. And as we were discussing offline, I'm a bit of a hybrid. Been here, there, and everywhere.
Shamaine, there is a lot of questions I have to ask you,
Cool.
right? One of those questions is, you've been in this about well-being and, kind of trying to get people back into business,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
Can you share with us one of those stories or experiences that you had when you were a child that now makes sense to you?
Oh, good question. Good question. All right. So it's a personal one. I
Mhm.
never really fitted in.
Yeah?
I was bullied a lot at school. My
Yeah.
parents moved around a lot.
Yeah.
They were publicans. My dad was ex-military. I went to 13 schools by the time I was
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
And never really fitted in. Was always a people pleaser. Couldn't understand why
Mhm.
I didn't fit it in.
Mhm.
And then it was probably in the last 4 years. It's kind of like, I don't think I'm meant to fit in.
Right.
I'm not one of those people that
You just accept it.
yeah. Just it's like I was fighting the wrong stream.
Ah.
And everybody's not meant to fit in because
Yeah.
we're all individual.
Yeah, we are different.
We are different.
And if you are kind of avoiding or hiding your
Yeah.
skills or the person who you are, you're not blessing me really.
No, because we hide from people. We hide. We
Mhm.
mask. We
Yeah.
mask
Yeah,
to fit in, and then
Yeah.
we don't because they don't see the real true you.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then everything, and then the wheels come off completely.
And then how do you feel now? As in, do you think that was teaching you something and now you feel more aligned?
Yeah, it took me a long time to
Mhm.
appreciate that. Life teaches us life is nothing but a season of lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't learn your lesson, you will repeat it and repeat
Definitely,
it and
yeah.
repeat it
Yeah.
and repeat it
Yeah.
and repeat it. Yeah, until you either die
Mhm.
or you go, hang on a minute, something here is going
Yeah.
to change.
So how do you cope with that? What do you do in order to feel like, okay, this is okay, I'm gonna just accept it and do the most of it?
Do the most of it. Because of my job, so I'm a business strategist and development
Mhm.
manager.
Mm-hmm.
I live in my head. It's all about the control. It's about being 3 steps forward. It's about understanding what's going on. So I had to give up all control
Mm-hmm.
and surrender
Mm-hmm.
and just accept that what is meant to be is meant to be.
Yeah,
What's the lesson here?
yeah,
What am I not taking notice of?
yeah,
And do the internal work.
yeah.
Yeah.
When you talk about doing the internal work, what type of work do you do
Personally on myself or with my
with yourself?
with myself.
Mhm.
I really struggled with journaling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sporadic with my journaling.
Yeah.
So I do the journaling. I do a lot of. I read oracle cards do my oracle cards every day,
Yeah.
and then disagree with the card that I've got because I'm
Mhm.
like, really?
Am I going through the process again? Thank
Yeah.
you.
What do you mean I need to nap? I don't need to nap. It's time for a nap card. I don't need to nap. I've got to make some money this month. So there was a lot of resistance. So I do a lot of. I don't actually follow a process. I don't
Yeah.
have a routine.
Yeah.
I do what I feel needs to be done at that time. So it
Yeah.
could be a meditation, could be journaling,
Yeah.
could be taking myself off to the sea,
Mm-hmm.
could be I asked for billboard signs.
Yeah.
So it could be like, I want a billboard sign. So on a rainy day on a holiday recently, 3 butterflies turned up. I went, I'll take that as a billboard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so those
That's
kind of
nice
things.
then. So you take like whatever is coming.
Yeah.
towards you and use it the best of your abilities.
Yeah, and then ask what lessons are it, like, why is this happening? What's going on? What do I need to learn?
Do you use that skill to help other business owners to feel more, more conscious of what they are going through?
Oh yeah, 100%. One of the things I get them to, I call it the land of potential.
Yeah.
The playground.
Yeah.
They're a 5-year-old kid. They can go just go and play. They go, but I have to drag them screaming and kicking.
Yeah.
And then when they get in there, they're like, well, I've just had a client who's just done it and just done a 40k launch this.
Yeah.
She's just done a 40k month.
Oh wow.
So she's like, I'm going to play in the land of potential.
Oh yeah.
And she's more of a control freak than I am. So yeah.
There is hope.
There's hope.
Oh my.
There's hope.
So, do you work as a freelancer or you work for other companies?
I predominantly work as a freelancer.
Yeah.
I will do the occasion. God, you can hear the resistance in my voice. Yeah, I will occasionally do some work with companies, but it's not it's not where my skills lie. I come from a corporate background.
Yeah.
And there's too much politics in a business.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Yeah.
So while a department might want to change, something might want to change, it doesn't fit into the overall mission of the company.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are better. Yeah, self-employed. The self-employed are
Yeah,
better.
that's a big question there. Because I do agree 100%. Like people are better doing their own craft, their own development and their own things. But then there is a big need on the background for you to pay the rent.
Oh, yeah.
And when that doesn't agree with your pocket money, there is a big issue there.
There is, but I've been bankrupt twice. First time was because I was blown up by the IRA.
Oh my.
And the second time was due to a personal family reason. And one thing I have learned is the money will always come.
Yeah.
The money comes. Yeah, and I have been there, don't get me wrong, I don't know when I'm going to pay my rent or put food on the table or pay the bills.
Yeah.
But it comes. It's that money's just money. And
Money's
that
just
was a lesson.
What do you think about money? What are your thoughts about them then? Since we are talking about money, what advice, after telling me what you think about money, what advice can you tell us to our followers here?
Oh, that could be slightly controversial. So I am training in something called Sacred Money Archetypes, which is
what is that?
So it's a program that was developed by a coach in America called Kendall Summerhawk.
Oh, nice.
And she's kind of taken the branding principles and applied it to money. So there's we all have a money archetype.
Yeah.
And my top money archetype is alchemist. Which really surprised me when I did the quiz, because I was like, alchemist? But it's backed up by 2 others, and the 2 others, because it works in a triangle, the other one I've got is maverick and an accumulator, which fits in perfectly, because I was like, now this makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I get paid for ideas, so I get paid for something which isn't tangible. I get paid for something that's not tangible. But I always want to know the figures, I want to know the budget.
Yeah. You want to be in control.
I want to be in control. Yeah. My whole life has been a season of control.
Yeah.
But what I've learned I've been self-employed 24 years this year. But what I've learned is the story we're told about money is a lie. There's so much emphasis put on money.
A lot of pressure. Yeah, especially for young entrepreneurs who want to do the things. If you don't have the money, no, that's not true.
That's not true. Money will, and there's this. Accumulators will hang on to money, whereas money's like water; it has to flow. Yeah. So actually, sometimes
that's why it's called currency.
Currency. So the connection with the current is not only the water, but the electrical magnetic field of the energy around it. Yeah. So money likes to flow, and when you are if you're in lack. You'll get more lack. It's like what you were saying earlier. Yeah. The more. So if you're like, I'm not going to pay my bills, you will get another bill. Something else will come through. And then don't get me started on the whole flip story of like, if we tell us money's evil, you got to work hard for your money.
Many people think money is evil. Completely, totally agree with you. No, totally agree with you.
The rich will screw us over. Yeah, I know a lot of very rich people who
Yeah.
you wouldn't even think were rich,
Yeah.
who do not screw people over. And I know a lot of people who are very poor
Yeah.
who screw people over every single
Well,
day.
yeah, because money takes you to a place of desperation, isn't
Because
it?
we've been taught that.
Yeah.
We've been this
The
emphasis
whole
on
story
money.
of,
This whole emphasis on money
Mhm.
is distracting people from what you were saying earlier about what they want to do.
Mhm.
Because straight away people will go,
Yeah.
how am I going to make money doing
Yes.
this?
There, exactly.
How am I
And
going to
then,
do that?
and then I've noticed that people get distracted
Yes.
on, I want to get X, Y, Z, but then don't think that much on what you want to get, but the process of it, or where are you at the moment?
Yeah.
What can you change at the moment so that you can progress one step? You know what I mean? Enjoy the process. Enjoy the process.
Enjoy the process.
So, do you think that there are a lot of misconceptions? Is it misconceptions?
Yeah, there is. I'll give you a good example. So I've got a client. She's a photographer, an amazing photographer.
Yeah.
She concentrates on weddings and
Yeah.
boudoir.
Yeah.
And she's got this story that she wants a Land Rover Discovery,
Yeah.
and she can't afford it. She tells she told herself quite regularly she can't afford it.
Yeah.
Her and her partner went out. They need to buy a new car. They've got two big, massive Malamutes, husky kind of dogs. Beautiful, they're beautiful, and
dangerous.
oh God, they're so soft, I tell you. And in her head, she's on the Sacred Money archetype. She's a celebrity romantic, so it's about having that that luxury and people looking at that kind of thing. So they were looking for a new car.
Yeah.
The people, it was her buying it. The sales showroom that they were walking into the showroom were treating her not the way she wanted to be treated.
Yeah.
She just said, "That'll say it. We'll go into Land Rover Discovery." She walked. Not only so, a couple of things happened. It was like a domino effect. She walked in.
Yeah.
General manager was her brother's best friend.
Yeah.
They're all standing there in Converse and trainers and like she's like they weren't dressed in suits.
Yeah.
They sat her down and they went within 20 minutes. They went, "Well, do you want this car for 4 days?" She went,
Oh
"Yes,
my
please."
gosh.
So she had test drove a car for 4 days.
Yeah.
They worked out the finances and she was like, "I can afford this."
Oh my.
I know,
Yeah.
but in her head she was like, "I can't afford
It's too much.
It's too much."
Yeah.
What then came up was she could afford the car. She couldn't afford the upkeep on the car.
Mhm.
So then it was like, well, how many more clients do you need?
Mhm.
And
And then she started working on
something
that.
to work towards it, and that opened up a creative element in her of actually I want to be doing this work.
Then do you think that? Well, I'm gonna ask you a question. Where do you think we get those beliefs from?
Society,
Yeah.
whatever it's your tribe,
Mhm.
whatever you're brought up with,
As in parents.
parents,
Yeah.
past a lot of it with women is I was going to say genetics. It's not the word. It's generational.
Generation.
Yeah, because women never had money 100 years ago.
Or the right to have money.
The right to have
Yeah,
money.
yeah, yeah.
You know, and everything was taken away. You know, even if you never inherited anything,
Yeah.
it all went to the male in the
Mhm,
family.
mhm.
So there's a lot of history behind it.
Yeah.
But then school,
Yeah.
friends, people. If you want to fit into a certain group
Mhm.
and you're not earning that kind of money,
Mhm.
you know, like this kind of schools you go to.
Mhm.
You know, if you go to a private school on a sponsorship or something like that, like you're always going to be talked about as the poor kid in the rich school.
Yeah.
Your jobs you go into, you know,
Yeah.
I went to work in the city and it was all double-barreled names and they'd all been to Eton and Oxford together, and I was like, yeah, come from Manchester, mate. But yeah, so it's everywhere. You know, it's in the news stories, it's in programs you watch.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
Why do you think it's that? Is that a way of controlling people, or
it's all
how
about
many
control.
people get money?
Don't upset the equilibrium because you know
you get cash.
20 years ago, to be self-employed,
Yeah.
you needed some money behind you. Like a 3-page website that you couldn't even alter would cost you £3,000.
Yeah.
We can sit here and build.
Easily.
I've just watched you like put something together really quickly on a design software and throw it up there.
Yeah.
Like you would have had to outsource that and not get it back for 6 weeks. And cost you a lot of money.
Yeah.
So the market's opened up a lot, but there's still this. Who am I to have this? I can't. You know, I can't. That's not my background. That's not why. It's not. Do you know, I've been doing a lot of research on the imposter syndrome.
Oh, there we go. Interesting. Come on, bring it up.
I can't think of a name. I'll have to find it for you. She gave a speech about how imposter syndrome started.
Yeah.
And so I went a bit further and I looked at it.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome didn't actually exist until the 1970s.
No way.
And it was two women, two psychologists.
Yeah.
And it was actually called the imposter phenomenon.
Phenomenon.
It all correlated with women coming out of the kitchen,
all right,
going into work,
yeah,
and
going into work, women, yeah,
in a society where we didn't go after those kind of jobs.
Yeah.
So it was this: who am I to be in this room?
Mm-hmm.
Because we were breaking down barriers and stuff like that.
The stereotypes and men power and all
power.
that. Yeah.
And then, being politically correct, and I want to stay off this if I can, the patriarchy switched it to imposter syndrome to make it sound like it was a medical condition, that is something actually physically wrong with you. But it's a natural reaction. It's actually a positive thing, because it's a natural reaction you're pushing yourself out, or you're pushing yourself, you're learning, you're developing. And one of you...
It's actually good.
It's actually good. And it's supposed to challenge you. But we've been taught it's a negative. Oh, you know, who are you to say this? Sit down, shut up, don't
because
speak.
It starts with the negative connotation, which is imposter.
No, it's the syndrome. Because people see syndrome as a medical condition. As something that actually physically, mentally
and then
wrong
imposter
with you.
that is given the wrong. Yeah,
so it's being communicated wrong. It's actually a phenomenon. It's like, oh, this stuff here, people are changing, people are developing. Yeah. And you were talking about failure earlier. I love this acronym. Failure, first attempt at learning. Like if they just put like if we went in with Big Ideas Well. If we went into Big Ideas Well and said to these kids, first attempt at learning, that's fail. First attempt at learning. Because the first time you ever do anything, I don't know about you, but the first time I got in to drive, my first driving lesson, I was very glad when that lesson ended. I was like, what am I doing? First time I ever, I was given a child and said, here you go, you've got to look after them. I was like, no. Like, how do you change a nappy? How do you give them a bottle? But it's like if they just switch that communication to like you've got to fail to learn. Because I wouldn't know how to do all this.
Because it is a learning curve.
It's a learning curve.
We are not coming here like with all of these learnings or with all of this knowledge and skills. So we have to go through the process of learning for us to be in certain status or whatever we want to be.
And we accept certain things. So we accept that if we're going to be a vet, it's going to take us 7 to 9 years to study. We accept if we're going to be a barrister, it's going to take us 6 years to study. We accept if we're going to learn to drive, we might pass first time or we might pass the 16th time. But when it's something like, how am I going to change my beliefs around money? I need to do it right now.
That will take a little bit longer, isn't it?
It could take us short or as long as you want. I'm 55 in June. Like there's a lot of there's a lot. I know.
You don't look for real.
For real.
You don't look like 55.
I would like to say it's my makeup regime, but it's really not. It's like I am. It's lots of water, not smoking. But it's like I've got 55 years of history, like knowledge, like belief system of thoughts going through my head of what money is.
And then it's falling down.
And then it's all falling down.
Oh gosh.
We were really rich when I was young, which is why I was bullied. I went on holiday. I'll never forget it. Going on holiday.
You were bullied because you were rich.
Oh yeah.
You live in an upside down world.
But it was around about 1975, 76, and I bounced into school after the summer holidays. Going, and the teacher went, "What did you do for your summer holidays?" I went, "Oh, I spent a month in Malta." And the kids in the class are going, Malta? Everybody else had been to a caravan in Skegness, and I'm like, what do you mean you've not been on a plane? What do you mean you don't go for dinner twice a week? Like, we go out for dinner twice a week. Like, kids were like, I hate you. And that was like, that's when I started to notice it was something different. But then literally, overnight, my parents split up, and they didn't tell me it was happening, and we went from having this luxury lifestyle, which I didn't know was luxury, to living in a women's refuge.
Oh gosh.
So with everything in storage and only being allowed one toy. So it's like polar end. But I didn't realise that that people, I didn't realise kids weren't getting on a plane. I thought everybody went on a plane and went on holiday.
For you, everybody was there.
Yeah. And then I was like,
you wouldn't notice, you wouldn't realise what the reality is.
And then I got upset because I wanted to stay in a caravan. I was like, what do you mean we can't go on a caravan holiday? I want to go on a caravan holiday. Oh, the kids go on a caravan. But kids you get labelled then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because you didn't fit in the communities links. Yeah. You know, I was on the other spectrum, on the other side of the line.
Yeah.
I wasn't poor. We were kind of, my mom and my dad were kind of high, you know, in status at that time. But I was completely different.
Yeah.
I never fit in. I felt like I wasn't bullied due to my financial stability or something, or something. But I was bullied because I was always looking to the reasoning behind the actions.
Yeah.
I was always trying to find the why, to question. Question why that was happening that way.
Yeah.
And because I was a thinker, and I am a thinker.
Yeah.
You know, people would pick on you. Oh yeah, you have to think. And I remember myself actually trying to speak properly.
Yeah.
And due to that, people will bully me. Ah, yes, you're putting the S. Well, it might be going. And I was like, well, if it's plural, it's an S. Yeah, but you know, when you speak fast, you don't normally say. You just go into jargons, basically. And I was bullied a lot because I was, and I still am, this type of thing. I am different.
Yes.
And it wasn't until I got married and developing my self-esteem and all this stuff that I realized why I was bullied.
Yeah.
And why I went through the process. Normally, it is because you need to use that skill to help other people going through the same. Because then you see the reflection.
Yeah, it's reflection.
And you know where to go, you know where to wait for the answers, or where to wait and apply some patience with people around.
Yeah.
Does that happen to you?
Oh, completely. Yeah, definitely. It's been one of life's biggest lessons.
Yeah.
Definitely. The whole reflection bit.
Yeah.
I think it took me a long time, and you know, when you talk to entrepreneurs, this is why they do what they do.
Yeah, definitely.
They've been through something's happened, and they've been through something.
Yeah.
But it's this whole it took me a long time to realise that we're not meant to fit in.
We are not.
No. Who defined these rules of fitting in? No, like, it's like, well, my best friend.
Yeah, who wrote those? Yeah.
I was sent a WhatsApp message this morning.
Yeah.
You better mention these. I was like, so this is a great segue into
Here
it.
we go.
So my best friend is a lovely little 5-year-old next door to me, and her 2-year-old sister. And when you look at those kids, the 2-year-old is fearless. Like, she's like the Tasmanian devil. Like, she's not learned.
Different, is it?
She's at that age where she's not picking up on the social unspoken things.
Yeah.
The 5-year-old is starting to pick up on it. You can see the change in her. She's starting to realise that certain things aren't socially acceptable.
Yeah.
But it's just exterior pressure from, you know, it's like, you know, why, you know, if they want to run around and be Disney princesses, let them run around and be Disney. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
It makes them
They
happy.
choose.
Yeah. It's just like, if they want to do that thing, let them do that thing.
As long as it's safe.
Yeah.
Why not? If they're sure.
As long as they're safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's this whole, like, fitting in. If you don't fit in, there's something wrong with you.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wait till you have to study in a completely different country where your language is another language, where your color is another color.
Well, ironically, one of my other life's moments was, because I followed the path.
Yeah.
And I should have gone to grammar school, but that's another story altogether. Ended up living in South Wales at 11, and then ended up going to London because I didn't get into university. Only 10% of the school actually went to university back then.
Yeah.
So I ended up in London, and I know that I was really good at what I did. I was really good at my job, and I was like, I couldn't understand why I wasn't getting the interviews.
Yeah.
And then 20 years later, an HR client turned around to me and said, because you're Shamaine Robinson on paper, and they would have looked at you as a black lady.
Oh my God.
I know. And I've actually, the number of times people have gone, you're not black.
No.
And I'm like, no, I'm really not black.
I didn't know this.
And people like, even recently, somebody's come to me, you're not black. No, I'm really not black. Really not black.
Shamaine, if I want to contact you, or if people listening want to contact you, what they should do?
They can find me on the Instagram,
Yeah.
and I am Shamaine Lei-Robinson. They can find me on Facebook under Shamaine Lei-Robinson, and my website is ShamaineRobinson.com.
Can you spell Shamaine?
Oh yeah, that'd be a good start, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because everybody spells it differently.
Yeah, I noticed it.
So give me an S. S. Sorry. So it's SHAMAINE, and then Robinson, as in the jam,
Yeah.
ROBINSON.
Awesome. Thank you very much,
Thank
Shamaine.
you for having me.